Hey, everybody, I am Dana Wilson, your hair advocate, and today we are continuing our series, Meet the Certified Sister Lock Consultant. So we'll get started in 2 minutes. See you then. Hey there, I am Dana Wilson of Hair Cares Inc. I am a Sister Lock trainer and a Sister Lock coach, and I've been a part of the Sister Lock family and society for over 22 years, and Sister Locks is still growing. We are here today because I'm continuing my Meet the Certified Sister Lock Consultant series. Um, the whole point of this series, or I was inspired to create this series from my desire to highlight the Sister Lock standard bearer, which is the Certified Sister Lock Consultant. And I also want to highlight them as great contributors to the Sister Lock Society and the growth of the Sister Locks family. So today we have a special guest, which is Miss Charlotte Van Horn, which I'm so excited to have her here. Let me just share a little bit about Miss Charlotte before we bring her up onto the stage today. Charlotte is the CEO of Locks Forever LLC. It is an independent company formerly located in Woodbridge, Virginia, and she's going to share about where she is now. Charlotte is a certified consultant, and then she's also a brand ambassador. She founded Locks Forever in 2012, and her primary mission was to provide the best professionals and customer service to help women take advantage of the beautiful natural hair system, which is Sister Locks. She also established her business. Oh, listen to this. Her business established itself as the community connector. I would like to hear more about this. So, also her main offerings was the Sister Locks themselves. She also has a natural hair product line, which includes No More Tender Heads. Now, this is interesting. It helps to relieve the scalp pain during curly hair manipulation. And she also has a natural hair business. Oh, development coaching division. Oh, this should be interesting too. This is good stuff, Charlotte. Charlotte has mentored and coached many small natural hair business owners, specifically or particularly Sister Lock consultants, to build great businesses with emphasis on Black excellence. She also used her national podcast called Sisters Talking Natural Hair and Business to share natural hair business development and tips and information. Oh, this girl is all that. Okay. So let me bring Miss Charlotte on to the stage here. Look, that bio is
You are
something, my
funny.
dear.
You are funny.
Listen, that bio is something else.
Thank
Please,
you.
please, please share more with us about
Thank you.
who you are and all that good stuff, Miss Charlotte.
I think that when it comes to the bio, if I could just address that real quickly, I think the bio in and of itself is just a testament that all things are possible. And Sister Locks, all of those things that as you were, speaking, I was listening, and a majority of those things spun off because I decided to take the class.
Go ahead. That's already
What?
that
That's
is
what I
it.
mean. So,
Yes.
I think that, I talk a lot about business plans and things. I got a message yesterday from a sister who I highly admire.
Mm-hmm.
She is just like this $1 million businesswoman, multi-million-dollar businesswoman who came and sat next to me in a women's business conference one time, and I thought to myself, she probably stuck up because I knew she was all that, right? She stuck up, and
Uh-huh.
I was like, hey, she came and sat next to me. She said, hello. I said, hello. Thinking she stuck up. I know she stuck up.
Right, right, right.
Turned out to be the coolest chick ever.
That's good.
And she actually thought I was cool too. And she wanted to interview me on a podcast that she was doing. And I told her, I said, well, I don't have no business plan. And she said, yes, you do. You just didn't write it out.
Okay.
And so that is and still to this day, I do not have a business plan. I
Okay.
do not have a business plan. So it's just a matter of taking one step after the other. It doesn't have to be a big old thing that you do all at once. So
Okay.
basically, my story and how I got involved with Sister Locks is I've been wearing Sister Locks since 2005.
Okay. 2005. So
And
how did you, I mean, what made you even decide to become a sister lock wearer? Right?
well, good
Mm-hmm.
question. Back in 2005, in
Mm-hmm.
the early 2000s, I mean, I don't even think I knew how to navigate the website. I
Okay.
mean, I really don't
Okay.
think, the internet wasn't what it is
Right.
today.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And I knew that I always wear my hair short. And I
Okay.
knew that I wanted dreadlocks.
Okay.
Okay. And so I started letting it just grow out. And then I start trying to deal with the natural.
Okay.
Okay. Because I mean, I wear my hair natural most times in my life, but if you just cut real short, but when it start growing and you
Yeah,
get
you
that in
gotta have something to
between
do with it.
and it's puffy and it's like, you try not to cut it off. You don't
Yeah.
want to perm it. That place, that's
Yeah.
where I was. So back then I had, I mean, basically the products that I had was pink lotion,
You know
Murray's,
what? You know
and
what?
black gel.
You know what? You know you saying something when you talk about the pink lotion.
The pink lotion, baby. When we had
Dog.
that pink lotion, we thought we was doing something, didn't we? I mean, if you think about all the products that we have now, pink lotion was it. You got any pink lotion?
Girl,
It was
I have
almost
me some pink lotion.
pink lotion was almost like the the Jerry curl stuff.
Oh my God. Okay. You're right. You're right.
So I was struggling because I really had never been a person that styled my hair a lot. And
Okay.
so I started going and it was growing out and I started trying to lock it. But what I know now is that I definitely have a 3 curl pattern. You know
Okay.
what I mean? I have a long curl pattern. And it wasn't just that easy. And then the girl was putting the twist in my hair, but then she would
Mhm.
put all that black gel. It would look cute for a day. Then
Yeah.
it would be like black all under my nails.
Yeah.
If I got wet, my hair would melt, so I never lasted. So then I went to washing it, putting that black gel on it, and that Murray's honey, and a do rag,
You
and then
know.
I put a get it girl ponytail, afro puff on the back.
You know
So
what?
I was trying to move into this thing, and finally, it wasn't working well for me.
Mm-hmm.
One day I'm at church and I see this woman. As a matter of fact, Dorothy Wells. Dorothy Wells was the first person I saw with Sister Locks. And I said to her, I said, wow. I said, your dreads are so beautiful. Well, you know what she said.
She said they wear dreads. That's what she said.
These are sister locks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, sister locks, what's that? And this was back in 2005. And then she was trying to explain to me what the sister locks were. But like, again, it wasn't like go to this website, back then, or there wasn't all the resources that we have. She said, you're in luck. The founder of Sister Locks is actually going to be in Maryland at a potluck like next week. Do you want to go with me? That's how I got Sister Locks.
Go ahead. That's
yes.
all right.
That's how I got.
So you got the Sister Locks. Was it the journey what you anticipated?
Well, honestly, I never really understood any of that. I didn't know what was going on. I just knew I wanted what she had. Okay. And so what I told her was that I want to meet your consultant. That's it. I just wanted to meet her consultant because I knew I wanted what she had and I wanted it just like hers, which people do now. And we all know nobody's locks are just the same. And then as far as my journey, we didn't even speak journey talk, I don't think, back then. Really, you know what I'm saying? It was like, I got Sister Locks. What's that? That was it. Okay. And I really couldn't even articulate what they were because, Sister Locks is a very, private, protected action, right? Right. And I didn't care. Okay, I didn't care. As long as I had somebody to do mine, I was loving it. I remember telling my husband, I'm getting this thing and it's permanent. So if you don't like it, just don't say anything. That's what I told him. I said, because it is what it is. This is what we're doing, And turns out he loves it. He loves it and has loved it always. But that's just kind of how I got started.
So what was the switch? Because something had to shift in you to just be embracing, having Sister Locks on your head versus now you want to become a consultant.
Okay, so what shifted to go to that part? So I had the Sister Locks in 2005, and I never thought about doing Sister Locks ever. I've never done hair.
So what was you doing? What was your profession at the time?
Oh, I was a legal secretary. Okay. Always been a legal secretary. Sister Locks Corporation retired me. From Locks. I should say Locks Forever retired me from corporate back in 2017. Took me 5 years of doing Sister Locks part-time to retire from corporate America.
Wow, that's huge, Charlotte. That is huge.
Yes.
Okay, so tell me the shift. Go back to the shift.
So the shift was Panama. The connection. Okay. How I ended up wanting to learn to do Sister Locks was nothing but the Holy Spirit because I never thought of it. But all of a sudden, it became very clear to me that this is what I should do. When in Panama, me and my husband were planning on retiring in Panama. And I knew it would be like several years down the road. And at that time, Panama was just really not, the sisters was just really not into the natural hair thing then. But something told me that by the time we got ready to come, that they would be. So I said, when I noticed the Black women in Panama, they would have like, their hair would just always be challenged with the weather. We have rainy season here. It's hot and it's humid. And you know how that can be on natural hair. And I said, by the time I get ready to come there, they're going to want something like Sister Locks. Wow. And so I said, my husband is 9 years older. And I knew I would still have to work, but I couldn't be a legal secretary in Panama because of some protected occupations, which I only learned later, but also because I knew I didn't speak Spanish and I definitely wouldn't be able to learn the grammar. I don't want to. Okay. So what could I do? And I thought about my sister-in-laws and I said, they need Sister Locks in Panama. And so I decided to take the class.
So that
was the shift.
So you were thinking future for yourself. Wow, this is good, Charlotte. This is good.
I was thinking future.
Okay, so you took the class. You took the class, and how? I guess because you never dealt with hair at all. You were a legal secretary. You took the class. How did you start to grow your business?
Well, first of all, Let me just say this, and this is going to encourage somebody who's watching this who just took that daggone class.
Please.
Baby. It was a girl that needed a ride back. I took my training in Maryland, the Lithicum. Okay. And it was a little bit of a ride, probably about, I don't know, maybe 90 minutes back to Woodbridge or wherever I was living, Fredericksburg, maybe Virginia. And there was a sister who needed a ride back to Virginia. And ordinarily, I would have been very open to offering, but look, I needed to cry. I needed time to cry. Do you know what I'm saying? Listen, I need to go to the car and cry.
You know what? You were overwhelmed.
I was. Okay. I just thought, oh my God, I will never get this. They sent us home. They sent us back to I stayed at the hotel. When we started doing the practicing, girl.
Come on.
I swear to you. They must have took me. They wanted us to do, I think, 4 of each of the patterns that we learned.
Yeah.
Baby, you talking what, 16 locks?
Right.
After about 2 or 3 hours, I just stopped. I couldn't do it. And by the time it was all said and done, when I left, I knew I had wasted my money. And that's what I felt. I felt like I just wasted my money. I don't know what I was thinking. I will never be able to do this. Okay. And so that is how I felt. Now, also, I'm a planner with some things. So I already had a client.
It sounds like you're a planner.
I already had a client. I had a client. I knew I was taking it. Don't wait till you're going to take the class to try to find one. You hype yourself up. Look at here. I'm finna go take this class, and when I come out, boom, boom, bam. Y'all need to be lined up, okay? You need to have at least one person already lined up before you take the class. Have them waiting on you to say, let's go, okay? So I had my person, but she had to wait because I don't know how people can leave that class and jump on somebody's head. I could never have done that. So when I got home, by the time I cried and everything like that, because now, not only that, what am I going to do in Panama to earn money? Now I got to have a plan B because this Sisterlock thing is not going to You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I'm in my feelings.
You're all the way in the feelings.
Deep.
So what was the shift? You had the client waiting for you. Okay. So what
happened was the shift was the $1,500 I paid. I was like, okay, by the time I got home, I had got myself together and I said, okay, well, if you can't do it, you can't do it, but you got to try. You got to give it a college try. So I started working on my mannequin. Good stuff. And, it started getting easier. And I actually finished the first mannequin and it weren't pretty. I was glad it wasn't somebody's head, but I could see the improvement from the locks that I started on and the locks that I finished. Please, y'all, finish your mannequins.
That's right.
Do yourself and your clients that one.
Right. That's your first client.
At least.
First client. That's the first client.
That's it. Her name was Michelle.
And they don't have a time frame to go or
exactly. Her name was Michelle. She was patient. Michelle didn't complain. She didn't talk about her butt hurt, nothing. I just clip her onto the counter. That was my doll. Your doll is your first client.
That's right.
So I did the first head. And you know what I did? I ran right out the door and bought another mannequin.
Okay.
And I did the second head.
Okay.
And then you know what I did? I ran right out the door and bought another mannequin.
Come on, Charlie. Come on.
I did 2.5 mannequins before I did my first client.
Okay.
And then even when I did my first client, it was different than doing the mannequin. You know, the locks were a little bit big in hindsight. And I realized it like after the fact. And so I told her, I said, listen, I think your locks are a little large. You know, this is my first head. And I said, but you know, I can try to correct that. You know, if you want, she said, girl, you ain't touching my locks. She said, this is my locks. She said, I don't care what you say. These things are good. She has been in love with her locks. They like down here to this day. And so I also made I documented all of this, and you don't think that it's important, but you don't know where you're going to end up in the future. You don't know where you're going to, you don't know who you're going to need to inspire, So I have a whole, photo album that I started posting on Facebook to let people know. I started posting my mannequin.
Did you?
Yes, I did. Yes,
Come
I
on.
did. Look, y'all, meet Michelle. Listen, I did her a little set afterwards, and
Oh, I love it.
I did. I posted my mannequin. This is my first client, and people don't know that it wasn't perfect, and they know that it looked like I had done something.
So, okay, Charlotte. Now, it sounds like you were your own coach, because you then went out and did two mannequins. You said two mannequins and a half before you got started.
Mm-hmm.
So, how quickly did your business build from there once you did that first client?
Once I did the first client, then it was just a matter of learning a lot of things.
Okay.
I want to say that the first client I did her because I got the first ads and everything. I just found some picture and put it out there on some kente cloth. And I would say that probably after, it was like 3 months after I finished training, that I did my first client. And probably within the next 6 months from there, I had probably done another 2 or 3 heads.
Okay.
So that's how it was starting to build. But fortunately, I was just getting acquainted with Facebook. Facebook helped me a lot. I didn't know anything about Instagram. I didn't know if it was out or anything like that. But I would post those things, and I stayed present on social media. And I just remember learning things like, making people give you a deposit when they want to set up an establishment. I just started learning things from there and building. It started slowly.
Okay. So when did you then submit for certification?
Well, back then you had 2 years. And baby, I think I took every bit of those 2 years to do it. I was just insecure.
Okay.
I knew, and I don't know if she still does it then, but baby, Dr. Cornwell will call you. And I ain't even gonna lie, the first time she called, I didn't answer. I wasn't ready. I was like, oh my God, it's her. And I wasn't ready. I was so nervous.
Okay.
And but it was probably close to my 2-year mark when I did submit. And I remember the criticisms that she gave me. She told me I did a really good job. She told me that I was trying to be too perfect. Okay. And like in order to do that, I had kind of rounded one of my parts. So yeah. So that was like her instruction to me, but she certified me.
Okay. But let me ask you this. What had you even follow through with certification? Because we know some people will take the class and get discouraged, like you initially were, right? And don't follow through with the certification. What had you pursue the certification?
Because I knew I wasn't in it just to do hair.
Got it.
And at the end of the day, one of the things, and I was into it to do a great business. And one of the main benefits of Sisterlocks, as opposed to other things that you can do, is that it's an established corporate structure, that gives you the ability to excel. And because it has that, it puts it more of a competitive nature. I didn't want to be a trainee all my life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If I'm going to be the greatest, how you going to be the greatest and you still trainee? Even if you're great, right. The optics of that was like, girl. And if you think at any moment, if you think that you might want to be a mentor or you might want to be a coach, if you haven't taken it upon yourself to take advantage of all of the promotion options or some of the promotion options available in the corporation that you're presenting and working with, then it's just not a good look.
Got it. Absolutely.
And it's a difference between doing hair it's the difference between doing hair and doing good business.
That's right.
And when people come to me for coaching, I always ask them what you want to do. Because if you just want to do hair, there's another coach for you.
So tell me about this coaching. So, I mean, obviously we know from your bio that you have coached and mentored other consultants, but for yourself, did you have a coach?
No.
No.
And I think that it was probably one of the biggest incentives for me to want to coach, because I knew people who were in it. And I actually had two friends who were in it, and I actually used to vacillate with them. I had one do my hair for 6 months. You got to spread the love. I had one do my hair for 6 months, one do my hair for 6 months. And, they just really weren't as helpful as I would have expected them to be. And that's one thing that you have to learn in business early, that when you go into business, you go into business. Don't come into business expecting nobody to support what you're doing, or to do what you think they should do.
That's a hard pill. That's a hard pill to swallow. I appreciate you sharing that with the viewers, because that's a hard pill to swallow.
It is, but it's the truth. Yeah. And I'm a serial entrepreneur. I'm a serial entrepreneur, but I do have to say, I mean, besides the business that I'm in right now, and I may retire in this additional business that I've started, Sisterlocks has been the best ever, the best business ever. There is no limit. There is no limit to what you cannot do. What you cannot do, what you cannot do, and what you cannot do. There's no limit, baby. It's just, I just admire Dr. Cornwell so much for creating this environment for us to have our own businesses on our own terms.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And Sisterlocks has been one of the best.
So because of your experience of not having a coach, you decided to coach others and mentor others. How did you really get started with that?
Well, when I got a shop, first of all, let me just say, in creating my business model, it was just so easy for me, because I am a Sisterlocks wearer. And all I thought about, the first things that I thought about in creating my model was, what would I have liked to have seen as a Sisterlocks client that I didn't? And everything that I could think of went into my business. So I think I kind of got into the mentoring and coaching aspect of it by accident, really. When I bought my first, my daughter bought me my first chair. Do not do nobody's hair until you have a chair for them to sit in. Okay, that's just a public service announcement. I think that you need to invest in a chair for your client before it's a long time, and I feel like and for yourself. Yeah. It's a requirement when people are mentored under me. It's like, you're not taking me to no kitchen chair. I'm sorry. This is not that. Yeah. And so anyway, my daughter bought me my first chair, and then I bought almost everything else on Craigslist. And I went into this lady's basement. She thought she was going to have a salon in her house, I guess, without paying attention to permits and, county regulations. And they shut her down. And she had to get rid of this stuff. And so she had one of these full stations, like a double-sided station. And now I'm just kind of new still in the business. And she said, and I said, she had two of them. And you know what? I said, I'll take them both.
Come on.
I'll take them both. And I said, because I'm not always going to be just me. I knew it. It's not always going to be just me. Let me just go ahead and knock this out now, because my salon will look good with matching stations for that new person that's going to come in. And I didn't plan on having anybody at that moment. I didn't. But I just knew that, if I grew the business the way I wanted to, that would be the next thing. So when I decided to bring someone in, And then also I used to do it in my house.
Mm-hmm.
And then we moved. And the guidelines in Prince William County of Virginia had changed. And I thought I could just do it in my we would move to a condo. No haps. No haps. You couldn't bring clients, you couldn't legally bring clients to your home.
Okay.
Unless you were in like a single family home with a 5,000 square feet around it, something crazy like that.
Okay.
And so I told my husband I wasn't making $600 a month. You know, I found this little spot for like $650 or something a month. And I said, I'm going to have to get a commercial location. He said, you got commercial location money? And I said, no, but if we're going to grow this business, we're going to have to just do it. And I said, and I can't grow this business looking over my shoulder.
Right.
Worrying about who's going to report me that I'm doing hair in a condo. You can't be as loud and proud
Right.
when you're riding dirty.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's how I ended up going into a commercial location. And that's when I reached out. I looked at the list of the trainees that was on the website. And I sent them a message like, hey, I'm here in Woodbridge, looking for somebody, I have a space in my salon. And Yvette Scott was the one that I ended up working with. But Yvette Scott was very good at doing hair, but knew nothing about business.
Okay.
And she was really the first person that I mentored.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how it started.
Well, Charlotte, it really sounds like you are a natural go-getter. That's what it sounds like to me. I mean, it sounds like you were you're a visionary, so you see the future right away. I mean, for some people, they have to be encouraged in that. Maybe somebody have to share with them. But it sounds like you had a plan. You didn't know exactly how you were going to get there,
yes,
but you did have some kind of plan.
Yes.
That is a great characteristic to have.
I think business is genetic. Yeah. Just some of the ideas, because not only for myself, I have given other people great business ideas. Mm-hmm. And they like, Dad, why you think of that? Mm-hmm. And one thing that I do, and I'm not religious by any means, everybody know. But I do love me some Jesus. Mm-hmm. And I know that a lot of my success comes from my walk with God. Okay. And I always pray for witty ideas and inventions. Mm-hmm. That's what I pray for. And I'm telling you, I can't keep up with them.
Come on now. Go ahead.
I can't keep up with the ideas and the avenues that God gives me to go. But so much of this has spun off of that one decision to take that class.
Wow. So now you're in Panama. Tell me a little bit about. So obviously you worked your plan. Okay. You worked your plan, right?
I planned my work and worked my plan.
You worked your plan and you made it to Panama exactly what you envisioned from the beginning. Yeah. Yes. So
I'll be here full time. It'll be a year full time that I've been here because I was going back and forth twice a month.
Oh, you were?
For a while. Mm-hmm.
So now let me ask you. So you went over to Panama. It's time to. So the plan was to take Sisterlocks there, right? Or introduce introduce it to Panama. How did that initially go?
It's really different when there is no blueprint. Right. There was one sister who was in Panama at some point. I happened to find her, and I reached out to her. And this is when I first started going to take the class. This was nowhere near when I was coming. And I said, "Oh my God, are you in Panama?" And she said, "No, I'm no longer doing it." And then she just said that Panama they are not ready for Sisterlocks. This is not, you're not going to be successful here. And I said, well, I know it'll probably be a challenge. I understood that it would be a cultural thing that I need, a whole lot of things I'd have to overcome, but it would have really just helped me if she'd have just shared her experience with me, and I might've been able to share something with her that might've helped her in her next international space, because you gotta, when you're in Rome, Okay. When you're in Rome, don't bring the United States. That was probably part of the problem. You know, you can't. So when I came here, it was a matter of, okay, that is one of the times that I'm very happy that I decided to do sister locks, because I could have done interlocks or something like else like that. But at the end of the day, when I came here to Panama, I created a brochure. I connected with the West Indians here. They allowed me to come into their group meetings and talk to them about sister locks. And basically, I just wanted them to know that I was here, because a lot of them would never, budget wise deal. Panamanians would not deal with the pricing of sister locks, even though I slashed my price in half to make the adjustment. But them allowing me to do that. And I think the sister locks benefit there was that I can talk to you about interlocks or whatever kind of locks that other people do till I'm blue in the face. And I might be able to show you something that I've done or something that other people done. But there's something very special that when you can say, this is sisterlocks.com, you can learn everything about what I'm telling you about. You can hear it in the voice of the creator. This has been around since what, 1993?
Yes.
Was it 93 or 98? It's been 20 plus years that it's been around. That's a whole lot easier to sell than I'm doing this or that. Because that then the people know there's a standard, there's a website, there's a history, there's a certain level of profession. So what I did was I sold sister locks. I sold sister locks much more robustly than I did Locks Forever. Locks Forever meant nothing. What is Locks Forever? Break it down to me. See, so I needed the Sister Locks brand behind me so that I could come in with some extra firepower.
Okay.
And that's how I was able to get clients, and I started looking for clients online because I realized that I would need to deal with expats. That's how I moved that's how Sister Locks took me to the next chapter.
Lord, you didn't open up a whole can of worms with this international.
This is international.
This is international at this point.
Woo!
So tell me,
think about it.
Because we can.
I know. It's so hard being on these shows, Chad.
We got to have a part 2 because we got to go into international waters right here.
Yes.
But tell me in a nutshell. How has Sister Lock, because you shared already that it has impacted you greatly. How can you even summarize the impact of Sister Locks in your life, professionally and personally?
Well, professionally, I mean, child, I'll be set up here and got emotional. Like I said, I've been a serial entrepreneur all my life. Professionally, the fact that I could earn so much money and have so much potential to earn even more money, that I could sit down with my husband after 5 years of doing something part-time and get him to get on board with me leaving my corporate America job, my corporate job. And I was, back then, I was a secretary, but I mean, what some people don't realize about legal secretary, especially in the DC, I was an admin person. But even as an admin person, let me tell you something. I was, at that point in my career, I was an admin person. Listen, at that point, I still made almost $90,000 a year. So I wasn't walking away from $20,000, $30,000. Right. You know what I'm saying? And so for Sister Locks to be able to get to that decision, that was the biggest thing. January 5th, 2017, 4 p.m. was the last time that I walked out of anybody else's office. I've been on my own. So that's number one.
All right.
Number two, Sister Locks has been so good for me personally because, I do all kind of trips, girls trips. I do tours and things. Let me tell you something. I'm going to be with, in the end of the month, I'm going to be with probably 6 of my clients. I've had trips where I've had 10 or 12 of my clients with me. They are friends for life. So I've also taken the Sister Locks business. It's been so much more to me. I never deal with clients I don't like.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I love
Look, okay, I don't. The
it.
energy has to be right, and I will figure out a way to part ways when it's not. And always, I don't let nobody come into my space without me having some connection with them at first. But the friends that I've gotten to
Okay.
develop, the ministry, I mean, the blessing
Yeah.
that, I mean, the blessing of just being with sisters. I love women. I love women. I love my sisters. And for me to have a job where then listen, I invested in a building where it was the shop, was the storefront downstairs, and then it was like a little Batman door. I go up to a townhouse upstairs. Listen, not to have to commute, and just to be able to spend all my time with my sister friends,
Yeah.
it was like so much not like work for me. So those are like two of the greatest, I think, benefits. And then Sister Locks took me into my products.
Mm-hmm.
Sister Locks led me into the accessories. I developed a line of accessories. Matter of fact, I have some of them on today.
Wow.
That's my logo. You
Okay.
know, I did accessories. Just like so much stuff. I did women's events because you just created this network. And out of that network, so much grew.
Mhm.
It,
I remember you had Dr. Cornwell at was that
yeah,
your grand opening, right?
that was at my grand opening. That
Yeah.
was my second commercial location.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she was there,
Yeah.
and that was special. And I thought too, even with that, it's like when you make those kind of steps, when you're willing to step outside of the box, when you're willing to invest a little bit more in what you're doing, it means a lot. And
Yeah.
people notice.
Yeah.
So when you want to be great at something, there's so much opportunity to be great at this.
Yeah.
And when people are just starting this, you know, you're competing.
Mm-hmm.
You are competing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what's going to make you stand apart is your business sense. Because I got sisters that do wonderful, wonderful sister locks that are all was coming to me. I was always giving them business.
Mm-hmm.
If you're so dope, it should get to the point where you can't take no more clients. You got to get to that point. And if you're still taking clients, constantly still taking clients, that means you're not retaining clients.
Mm-hmm.
And that means that people are probably not speaking well of you.
Oh wow! Come on now, yeah. You go ahead, Charlotte.
I'm just saying.
Lord, what first steps is get your certification. That's the
Get your
first step, right?
certification.
You got to
Yes.
have credibility for your skills
Yes.
now, and then you need a coach to kind of help you with that because people may not even be thinking about on those lines that you just getting business, you're getting business. You're not thinking about, hey, how do I retain these people, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
And
So,
hair is so personal with us, Dana.
huh?
It's like hair is such a personal thing with us. It's like it's something that we've all done. You remember your mom doing your hair, your girlfriends might have done your hair. I mean, how many times can you remember somebody sitting on the couch, you sitting on the floor, and they doing somebody on the front porch, and I think that familiar history that we have with hair causes us not to realize that when we go into business, that we're not just doing hair, we're doing business.
Yeah, we're doing
business. And I think that we owe it to ourselves to do greater business when it comes to this, and to make sure that people can't come and compete with us because we're falling short on professionalism and customer service. Mm-hmm. Because people are learning to do what we do.
Absolutely. Good stuff, Charlotte. Listen, let me put up your information and let me know if I need to put something else up. I have here your Linktree link. If you want to get in contact with Miss Charlotte, you go to her Linktree link here, and I went to it, and she got tons that you.
That's why I said, yeah, you good.
You can read there, and you can check out all the stuff that she is up to. And we have to have her come for a part 2 because I really want to go into this international waters here.
Okay, me too.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Charlotte, for taking your time to share with us, to have a conversation with me and share with the audience. Hopefully, this was good on your time.
Yes, we're good. And
And
thank you, Dana. Thank you for having me. You
yes.
know, you have been such a leader in the Sister Locks community,
Oh,
and I
wow.
see you doing your thing. And you know, when I first saw your bio, and you all fancy. You got the what was your biology degrees or something? I'm like, Lord, this girl a researcher and
Look,
everything.
look, it just like you. I could say the same thing. It was Sister Locks that really triggered all of this
Wow,
stuff,
wow.
So thank
Yes,
you. Thank you. Thank you.
yes.
And
Thank
um,
you.
so for you guys, if you want to reach Charlotte, go to her link tree link here, and then also stay connected with me. You guys go and join my Facebook community. It's the Sister Lock Society. That is for practitioners, trainees, certified consultants, and clients. So please stay connected with us, and we're going to continue on with this series so that we can meet the people that really hugely contribute to the Sister Lock Society. So I'll see you guys soon. Thank you for joining us. Bye bye.
Thank you.